So starting out this Devoid logic video, we have the very first sequence of the movie. The first 12 minutes basically has nothing to do with the rest of the story. So the fact that the sequence is in the movie to begin with is devoid of logic. This is just a flashback, and all we learn is that cheating is bad.
You cheated, Diana. That is the only truth, and truth is all there is.
Wow, what a massive revelation. Also, one other stupid moment in this sequence is that we start out with 9 people, but there are only 5 horses on the shore waiting for them, as if they knew there would only be 5 people remaining after the obstacle course. Also, in the first movie, they made it really clear that Diana was not allowed to do any training.
She is a child, the only child on the island. There will be no training.
So how does this little girl with practically little to no training somehow almost beat all of these seasoned warriors? Her mother was very protective over her in the first movie, but for some reason she's fine with her daughter competing in the Amazonian Olympics? Wouldn't it also be a red flag that her daughter is somehow better than all these warriors, and maybe she's been training in secret? Like, there's just no consistency between the two movies. It feels like this whole sequence is just a reshoot. The filmmakers probably panicked because of how long the movie was and how little action it had. So they probably just threw this scene into the movie because before this there were only like 4 action scenes total. So let's get into the crappy wishing stone MacGuffin that drives most of the conflict in the movie. In general, there are a lot of plot holes with this power. Firstly, as an example, if you wish for a nuke, you get a nuke. But Diana wishes for Steve to come back, and for some reason, Steve took the consciousness of another person. That doesn't make a lot of sense considering the fact that wishes can materialize things. Also, I know this is a monkey's paw, but the downside for this wish was that Diana was slowly losing her powers. So, I guess she gets 2 downsides for her wish then? Also, regarding the fact that Steve comes back in another person, is Diana just okay with the moral ramifications of taking over an innocent person's life? Like, the guy turned out to be a cool dude by the end of the movie, and Diana just hijacks his life. She's supposed to be the good guy, but when it comes to boning her long-lost love, it's okay, I guess. On the topic of Steve, let's take a look at one of the scenes him and Diana have together that is completely devoid of logic. And that scene is the fighter jet scene. So Diana and Steve need a jet to fly to Cairo and stop Max Lord, but the means in which they get the jet is really stupid. They end up going to a Smithsonian, and in the backlot, they just have a fully fueled and ready to take off fighter jet. Which is not a thing at all. Those planes are on display and they normally don't function, let alone one of them having enough fuel to get to Cairo. So after that stupid logic, Steve miraculously knows how to fly the jet with the justification that he's a pilot.
That's so easy, really. It's wind and air and knowing how to ride it, how to catch it, how to...
And apparently there is no learning curve from a World War I propeller plane to a fighter jet. That, and in this clip, it is clear he doesn't know what he's doing.
No.
After they are taking off, they realize that, oh no, they have a radar and they can shoot us down.
Well, shit, Diana!
And what happens? Diana can now turn things invisible, which is oddly convenient. There is no build-up or anything, she just now remembers how to do it conveniently.
My father hid the mascara from the world and I've been trying to learn how we did it.
Did what?
Made something invisible.
Even if that's a thing in the comics, the execution of it within the movie doesn't make sense. So after that domino effect of stupid events, we hit our next domino, and that is, it's suddenly the 4th of July.
4th. Of course.
The 4th of July?
There's no build-up to this at all, and they just randomly threw this in for spectacle. Also, why is Steve surprised by fireworks? It's not like they were invented a long time ago. So yeah, this whole scene is completely devoid of logic and just doesn't make a lot of sense. So looking back at the villain and the wish aspect of the movie, there are still a lot of things that don't make sense. For the secondary villain named Barbara, she initially wishes to have Wonder Woman's powers, and then she is offered another wish. And with that wish, she wants to be an apex predator.
An apex predator. Like nothing there's ever been before.
That alone is pretty stupid because why would you want to turn into a cheetah when you already have super strength and everything else that Wonder Woman has? But maybe she's a furry behind the scenes? You never know. Then by the end of the movie, Wonder Woman holds her under the water while she gets electrocuted. But if Barbara has the same powers as Wonder Woman, then shouldn't she be fine? Or does the second wish remove the first wish's benefits? I don't know, it doesn't make sense and it isn't explained properly. Also, during the beginning of the fight, Wonder Woman is wearing some sick golden armor that is set up to be very durable. They even show this in a flashback where an Amazonian holds off an onslaught of Spartans and the armor doesn't get damaged. But after a few strikes from Barbara, the armor falls apart like a poorly constructed Lego set. At the end of the movie, Max Lord makes the president wish for something, which in return he takes the presidentship, and then he broadcasts himself to the entire world and asks everyone to make wishes. But nobody makes a wish for world peace, or to even wish for this guy to stop talking? Out of all these people making wishes, there would at least be one person to wish for something to save the day, or to essentially end the world, but in general it just doesn't make sense. Then after all the nonsense, and Wonder Woman losing to some wind, I'm not exaggerating there, she literally loses to wind, and she can't fight through it with her super strength, which is honestly just really funny and stupid. But going back to my point is that Max Lord renounces his wish and loses all of his powers and benefits. But for some reason, the presidential helicopter decided to give this maniac a ride back to Washington, D.C. Like, this guy was about to end the world, why would anyone help him? I'm just assuming that the filmmakers wouldn't think that the audience would question this. Also, I want to point out that Max Lord has a kid that just sat in his office for an entire day.
Right now, I need you to stay here with Emerson, okay? I'll be back. You stay here.
And in this shot, he is just now coming out of the office when it's nighttime? Like, what the hell did this kid do for the whole movie? Did he just sit there staring at a wall? And then after everything goes to shit, he just runs away and ends up on a freeway. Why would this kid suddenly just wander onto a freeway where it's dangerous? Kids shouldn't be that stupid. Then when Max Lord returns to Washington, D.C., he calls out for his son, and he suddenly just emerges from the shrubs. Like, what? He was just on a freeway, and now he's just miraculously here. Man, this movie just doesn't make any sense. So going into another aspect of the movie that is devoid of logic, I wanted to take a look at the physics. I know this is a superhero movie and physics shouldn't really matter that much, but when they look this bad, I have to say something. Whenever Diana is running, it just looks like she is ice skating. When you run, normally your head is bobbing up and down, but for Diana, she just keeps her head at the same level constantly and it looks fake. And this is just the physics regarding the running. A lot of the time when she's using her lasso, it doesn't look very good. The first scene that comes to mind is the mall scene. Like in this one shot as an example, it looks like she just levitates up instead of there being a swinging motion. Another scene where the physics are broken is when Diana saves the kids on the street from the convoy. She's basically rocketing towards them at about 100 miles an hour, and they play the shot in slow motion to make the physics look more believable. In reality, she would have broken every bone in their tiny little bodies. And then after this, she ends up just losing her grip anyways and she just falls on them, so I don't know how they're still alive. Besides the physics in this scene, it doesn't make sense for these kids to be playing on the street. Because do they not see or hear a massive convoy shooting guns heading towards them? I guess the movie probably just needed to make up a way to stop Wonder Woman from catching Max Lord in this scene. Going back to the subject of physics, how the hell is Diana able to fly? Apparently, if she poses like Superman, that gives her the ability to fly. I know she is shooting herself forward with her lasso, but she should immediately start falling. Is she not just falling with style?
Thank you all, thank you.
That wasn't flying, that was falling with style.
At this point, the filmmakers basically just made her Superman with the added benefit of making objects invisible. I don't know. Overall, this movie essentially is just built on plot contrivances, MacGuffins, plot holes, and overall bad writing. I can go on longer about all the small details that are devoid of logic, but the points I talked about in this video cover most of what was wrong with the movie. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about Wonder Woman 1984, and I hope you enjoyed the video.